All right. I think we're on.
Hey. Oh, okay.
Hey guys, good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Happy
Happy
Saturday.
Saturday, or maybe it's good
Good
afternoon or
afternoon
good
or good evening.
evening, wherever
Yes.
you're joining us from.
Yeah.
We're Sean and Allison from Spoken Garden. We're
Hello.
so excited to have you here with us on this garden chat on Saturday morning.
Yeah, guys, it's going to be fun today. We are talking about taking stem cuttings and right now, and stem cuttings in general, just how fun they are.
I know, they
So,
are really fun. I
yeah.
know. We'd love to hear from you if you have any experience taking stem cuttings, if you want to learn. I mean, what's your experience level, right?
Yeah. And what are you excited about? Or does something a part of this get you excited about taking stem cuttings? I mean, what is
I
that?
know.
Is it just creating new plants? Is it saving money? Is it the challenge of it? What is it?
I think for me, what excites you? I know kind of
A little
what
bit of everything.
a little bit of
A
all.
little bit all saving money, always a good
I
thing,
know it's.
but creating new plants out of almost nothing, it's fun.
I mean, just
So,
how many lavender plants and different other. I don't know what else we've had, or we've
oh,
taken
there's
things of so many things.
petunias,
We've been able
verbena.
to add so many new plants to our garden, and as long as you care for them over the winter, and make sure that they're protected and they're
Yeah,
safe, you're able to either plant them the following spring or maybe wait till closer to summer. So
yeah,
it's like, wow,
it's
all
awesome.
these new
It's
plants.
so fun.
I know.
Yeah. So,
So.
yeah, let us know in the chat what excites you about taking stem cuttings, and then also make sure to take that survey that we have there at the top of the chat,
Oh
and
yeah.
let us know. What do we ask? Oh, sorry.
Well, it's a similar question we asked out on to our community, to you guys. We kind of asked a similar question last
Are
week.
you planning to
Yeah,
take stem cuttings soon or this
we
fall?
just kind of want to hear
So,
what everyone's thinking right
yeah,
now.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I know
So,
we have a lot of stem cuttings we're planning to take, and the cool part is that there are so many things you can
oh
take
yeah.
cuttings of in the
There's
fall.
lots of different plants, and like we've
Yeah.
actually, so this is fun. We actually put together a free download, and there's 20 different plants you can take stem cuttings from, starting right now and into and through the fall. So
Okay.
each one's just a little bit different, but in general, you can take stem cuttings from all 20 of these, and there's a lot more plants too. It's just not these 20. And I think we have, it's a landing page. Download for that. I don't have that up though.
I'll work on that. I didn't have that ready yet,
Okay,
but
yeah.
yeah.
Sorry, guys.
No worries.
Ah,
No, I want to make sure
but
that they get that.
no,
So
it's
we'll
fun.
stay tuned for that. We'll probably give that out a little bit later so you guys can have access to like all the plants. And
Yeah,
it's just a list, right? Of just,
it's literally a
let's see if
PDF
I can.
download, and it's easy. You just go there. You're gonna need to put in your email, and just click the button to get the download, and then you'll be able to confirm your email and then download that PDF. And you can print it out. You can put it on any of your devices. Keep it on your device if you want to. It's kind of fun to have on your phone because if you're out in your garden and you're like, oh, I wonder if I can. I wonder if that's part of that
Oh, yeah.
list. You can just literally pull up the list on your phone and look and see if it's on there. Super easy.
Yeah, I know.
So,
It's I'm happy. We're excited to be able to offer that to you guys for free.
so you might have noticed too, off topic, real quick, while Allison's looking for this.
I'll find it later.
No, go ahead. I have just some fun stuff. I think it's fun. So I like to make kind of corny jokes, and so you might have noticed. Here, she's
Oh
looking at me
no,
funny.
I'm
Yeah,
nervous.
this is fun. So it's fun to get the look, and then it's fun to talk about this stuff. You might have noticed we're both wearing plaid today.
Oh, we're wearing plaid.
Yeah,
I
we're
know,
both wearing plaid. Pretty cool. Yeah.
right? It's already like here.
So my kind of, I guess, corny joke, dad joke, old man joke, whatever you want to call it, is they've gone to plaid from Spaceballs. So okay, I'm getting the look. I probably
I
should have
love
said that,
Spaceballs,
but it's a funny movie. I love that quote. But we've gone to plaid. Get it?
we've
Okay,
gone to.
I did it. It's out of my system.
I have no words. I think I need more caffeine to keep up with Sean right now.
Ah, she does.
A little bit more. A little bit more would be
She's
helpful.
doing great.
Um,
So
so we've gone to Plaid. We're here on Saturday. It's yeah. What's going on with you guys though? What's happening in your gardens right now? If you're here with us, let us know in the chat. Drop us a little note and let us know where you're gardening. If we don't, if we've never met you before, or
well, and even if you've been here before, let us know you're here, and just tell everybody, especially us, what zone you're in.
yeah, we'd love to know what zone you're in. Totally. And um, yeah, I guess. I mean,
And also really quick, there's always some type of technical difficulty. It's just it keeps happening. It's just part of doing what we do. Tell us, let us know if you can hear us, okay, and if you can see us, okay. Please, we'd like your feedback, especially on that. So yeah, so
Okay, so yeah,
oh
definitely. Let's see. So happy early fall. We're in September. We're sorry. Let's see. We had to cancel and reschedule our live from last Saturday. So we're really sorry. A lot of you
yeah,
were
sorry
waiting
guys.
for that, and we're so thankful for your patience on that. That was my bad. But here we are, and we'll show you a little bit later in the live. We'll show you the kind of the topics we have coming up, and see if that's something you're interested in. And
Hopefully you are. If
yeah, we
if
can.
if you see anything on there that you're not interested in, or we haven't covered a topic yet that you are interested in, please email us
Yeah.
and let us know, or let us know in either the chat or the comments section of this video, and let us know what you want to hear about. What's something that you're having trouble with in your garden, or something that excites you about your garden you want to hear more about. Let us know.
Yeah, we'd love to know.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear. So I guess for now, let's check in here. We've got a couple people are starting to vote. So again, the question is, are you planning to take stem cutting soon or this fall?
Yes.
75% of the votes so far have said definitely. And
Awesome.
25% are, I want to, but I'm not sure how.
Okay.
So that is something we would love to help you with. So
Yeah.
we'll talk a little bit more about that probably later. But
Sure.
let's see. Jennifer T, good morning. And
Good morning, Jennifer.
Jennifer said audio and video are good. So
Thank you.
that's always it seems like there's always an audio something or other.
Oh
But
gosh.
yeah, let's get going on. Let's talk about some stem cuttings because it's a really fun thing to learn, and there's so much experimenting that you can do with that.
Yeah. So, and you might have seen the video before. We had a video on this, I think, before earlier about taking sedum cuttings. Yeah. And so these are the cuttings that we actually these are the leftover stems actually
Really?
from taking the cuttings that we were just going to throw out. And we're both like, why are we going to throw those out? Why don't we just put them in water and see if they root? And they did. They did root. We've got a whole bunch of, I don't know if can you guys see the fuzzy roots down on the bottom
We
there?
need to change the water. That's kind of embarrassing.
Yeah, sorry guys,
Maybe don't
we haven't changed the water.
close.
Don't embarrass me.
It's a little embarrassing.
But
These rooted fast.
yeah, they did. There wasn't even like a couple weeks. And so part of what we're going to talk to you about today too is like sedum cuttings, what to expect, how fast these we're going to talk about 5 different kinds of plants to take cuttings from right now, and what to expect, how soon to expect them to actually root. So that's going to be fun. These are like 2 to 3 weeks.
These were really fast, you guys. They're pretty easy to root. This is obviously one of them that you can take right now. Let's
Okay. I'll put
and you might want to have something, ready to jot down some notes if you're interested in taking any of these cuttings we're going to tell you about, because then you can kind of know what, like you said, know what to expect. Like how soon will you see them?
Yeah, and you know what? If you can't do that for whatever reason, if you're on your phone, you can always just replay the video at that specific point, and that'll be fine.
Yeah, that's true.
So we'll have that information. That'll just be up after this live. We'll have as a regular video. So
yeah, totally. All right, let's get started.
Here we go, folks.
So stem cuttings, what can you take? It's still late summer right now, right? But going into fall is probably what, we're kind of all gearing up for fall, and like, some of our annuals are maybe we're gonna start needing to pull them out. So there might have been a specific plant you just fell in love with this year and you want to keep it somehow. Maybe you tried collecting seeds from it as well, but you just want to actually clone it with a stem cutting, as long as it's, legal to do so.
Yeah.
So that's another point.
Yeah.
We should probably touch on a little
bit. It comes down to property rights, intellectual property rights, patents, these types of things. There's plants out there that people actually own the rights to, and because they own those rights, you're not supposed to legally propagate them, or at least propagate them and sell them for a profit. And so it gets a little, it's we got to honor that. People came up and put their blood, sweat, and tears into making a whole new plant. A lot of resources goes into that, right? I mean, there's years that go into not only the breeding, and the genetics of it, but then making sure to grow them out and to make sure that they're stable enough genetically for the very thing that they actually bred it for, whether it's flower color or flower size, leaf size, plant size, whatever that trait is. It takes years to stabilize those genetics of those plants and then bring it to market. So, I mean, there's a lot of money. So we need to honor that. We need to make sure that we're following those rules and give people their due on that, basically. So.
And it does come down to like if you just bought a plant, if you look at the plant tag, often it will have a patent number or something on it.
Or like a little blurb that says, due to intellectual property rights, you do not propagate this plant or something like that.
Yeah.
So,
and, we just want to let you know that that is something to be aware of. We don't want to just say, go propagate everything. I mean, it's going to be up to you what you and your comfort level are. It's not like people are going to come breaking down your door and take all your plants away, but it's just something, it's just a moral code kind of thing.
Yeah, it's just a good thing to do, to always do the right thing. Try to do the right thing.
Yeah. So with that, going ahead, I can think of my mom's garden where we're currently filming all of our videos right now while we're kind of in temporary mode. And there's some beautiful, really old plants that she has already given us permission to take some cuttings of.
I know, we are
things they've had for years and years and years.
Yeah,
so
like that blue, beautiful hydrangea.
Huge, huge old hydrangea, which, by the way, she prunes every year.
Yeah.
We were just talking about that yesterday, and that's a topic that
it's a hot topic.
Kind of a hot topic about pruning or not pruning especially your big leaf hydrangeas.
Or just hydrangeas in general. There's some people out there that literally just take a blanket statement and say, don't prune your hydrangeas ever. And it's like, you can't do that.
Well, there's so many circumstances, but
and plus, if you never maintain a plant, it can just grow into just this big mass of a mess. And it can create more problems for the plant and for you later down the line. So, anyway, I guess we're off topic.
I know.
But also, if you're going through and pruning some of your plants this fall, this is a good time to take stem cuttings because you're literally cutting it off anyway. So maybe have that in the back of your mind when you're pruning your plants. If you're just going to go through and hedge something or really go in and just prune something really hard or rip something out like petunias, which we're going to talk to you about in a minute.
Yeah.
Think about taking those cuttings before you rip the plants out or prune them.
Perfect timing, right? Like we were saying, like you're going to start pulling your annuals out pretty soon here. So maybe there's a few you can take some.
Like this, the petunias and the verbena.
Yeah.
They're annuals where we live in our zone. So we have to, and we can try to overwinter them, but it's a little rough. It's a little tough. So it'll be easy though to clone that plant with taking the stem cutting, and then we can have the plant next year and do it all over again with its beautiful bloom and its form and its use in containers or wherever else in the garden. So anyway.
That's, I was just thinking, Mark just popped in and there's a couple.
Hey, morning, Mark.
So let's say good morning to Mark. Hi, Mark. Hi, Jen Sky, and hi, Margaret Sims. We've got some people popping in. There's
Thank you for being here.
A lot of conversations going on right now. So we're going to try to keep up with you guys in the chat, but it just made me wonder, like, Mark, where you live in southern Texas, I bet like petunias, verbena, that's kind of almost more like a year-round plant for you.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, let us know.
How do you handle that?
Yeah, do you just overwinter them in a warmer climate? Or do you do something different with them, or do you not do nothing with them?
I know, it makes me wonder, because we've never lived in a climate like that.
We've never gardened in a climate like that.
I'm so curious. I know. And Mark said, propagation, not really a topic he has too much experience with, but he's done proliferation through division and stem cuttings of roses.
Ooh,
which roses are really something we haven't dabbled in too much.
No, and roses can be tough.
Yeah.
Roses can be a little tough. Mark, this is slightly off topic, but interesting. Roses, there's this thing out there where they say take a potato and take a stem cutting of a rose and stick it in the rose and stick it in the potato. Take the stem cutting of the rose, stick it in the potato, and the root in the potato.
I've heard that's so bizarre.
It's crazy.
I want to try it.
Yeah. Mark, have you tried that?
Have you grown a rose in a potato? That's the most random thing.
That's funny.
Are there other plants you can grow in potatoes? No.
Have you grown a plant within a plant? I don't know. That'd be fun.
Let's see. Jen says, Jen Sky's from Arizona, so we're really excited for you to join us. I don't know if I remember your name in the chat before, so hi, Jen.
Hi, Jen. Yeah. What's your zone? What's your zone out there?
Let's see, Jen. No, she didn't say zone yet. She just said it's really hot in Arizona. Moved from Virginia a year ago. She's wondering what grows good in dry heat. Ooh. Sedums.
Sedum autumn joy. And there's a lot of different kinds of sedums out there too. So look for it. When we say sedum, it's a general name of a plant. A lot of people, when they hear sedum, they think the autumn joys, just because it's a really well-known.
Which is what these are, actually.
Yeah, it's grown by a lot of different people in a lot of different areas. Sedums can be a succulent. They're a perennial, and they do like drought drum conditions. But sedum can also be the genus name. If you're looking at the botanical name, that's the genus name, so sedum. And then the species, there's many different kinds of species of sedum. So if you can, look it up. If you have a fun plant book that your go-to plant book is, look up sedums in there if there's any type of like encyclopedia piece to it, or a list of plants in the back, like the Sunset Garden book or the American Horticultural Society, different kinds of books for plants and flowers. And look up the sedums. Also, Hebes, Hebe. That's the genus, and that can be a common name too, but the genus is Hebe. Now, Mark might have some great suggestions for you too, living in Texas, and I think Mark's in El Paso.
Yeah,
Correct me
I
if I'm
don't
wrong, Mark.
always get that wrong. I'm sorry.
But
We should know that by now.
is your maybe your climate too is a little on the drier, hotter side. I would assume it's definitely warmer, but maybe it's drier. Maybe it's not though. El Paso, I'm not sure. So maybe Mark could have some suggestions too. Yeah, and
Well, and
go
if
ahead.
I could jump in really quick, I
Sure.
just sent to Jen in the chat, check out Arizona Plant Lady, our friend Noelle.
Oh, Noel, yes,
She
yes.
just wrote a book actually for the same publisher that our book's through, Cool Springs Press.
Hmm.
The title escapes me, but it's about southern Southwest gardening, and
Hmm.
she is specific to Arizona. She does all kinds of dry climate, amazing. She does container gardening. She designs things. She's amazing. So she's on Instagram and she has a website and all kinds of stuff.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Noel, Arizona. So AZ Plant Lady, I think is her handle on a couple different like Instagram and maybe
Yeah.
Twitter. I haven't seen her lately on Twitter. Maybe I've never seen her on there. So many accounts, but definitely on Instagram,
Yeah.
AZ Plant Lady.
Yeah.
And
It's in the,
okay, good.
but she's awesome for anybody.
Yeah,
She's a wealth of knowledge.
totally. Yeah, I hope that helps, Jen.
And then Margaret,
Yeah.
Margaret Sims,
Oh, morning, Margaret.
thank you for being here. This
Yeah.
is so much fun to like share ideas. This is all about what we want to do here.
This is
Like,
totally.
Margaret said she did some hydrangea cuttings, I'm assuming, last year. It was so satisfying, she said, to end up with just those new plants
Oh,
from that
that's
cutting.
so cool, Margaret.
And hydrangeas are tricky for us. We've made a video on that before, and we got most of them to root, and then we lost a whole bunch of them in this, we call it the great aphid infestation of January. Was that 2020 or 2021?
I think it was 2021.
It's like the COVID years kind of blend together.
There was aphids. There were
it was a
nematodes.
mess.
There was a lot of weird stuff.
Oh,
in
it's so
our
sad.
greenhouse.
We lost like our petunias, our hydrangeas. We lost a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm so thankful that you were able to root what kind of hydrangea, Margaret,
Yeah.
did you root?
Was it small leaf? Was it microphylla?
so
Macrophylla?
many beautiful.
Was it the panicle?
We love hydrangeas.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oak leaf.
love hydrangeas.
Oak leaves are beautiful.
That's one we don't have. We
My
don't.
mom has an oak leaf.
Does she? I
In her
don't. I
backyard.
don't
She
know.
loves it. It's
I
beautiful.
don't know much about oak leaf
Yeah.
hydrangeas, but I would love to learn more. I
Yeah,
think that's
their leaf actually looks like an oak leaf.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
And I'm loving, Proven Winners sent us a couple new ones in this past
yes.
year. It was a
Yes.
mountain hydrangea and a cascade hydrangea.
Yes.
And I am loving both of them.
They're still in bloom.
They're still in bloom. We have to show you guys more about these on,
Yeah.
we'll have to make this an upcoming video because, now Margaret, Margaret mentioned also she's done sedum cuttings, and they can just go straight in the soil. You're
Totally.
totally right. They just root everywhere.
Yep, they really will. If you keep that moisture around the base of those stems, yeah, they will do that. We like to do it like
so
this
fun.
for us, just to make sure that we know they've rooted and we can actually see it too. So it's really fun.
We like to watch them grow. We like to check
Yeah.
them every day. It's kind of like any of you that grow, I know Mark does, grow bulbs, any kind of fall bulbs or spring planted bulbs, and you just like, you go out and check them all the time. Have they come up yet? Have they come up yet? It's just kind of this fascination and slight obsession with just like,
Oh yeah, there's so many
constantly, checking.
there's so many things to be obsessed about. So
There's a lot.
I was just thinking, we've been on this slide for a little bit. Should we?
Sorry, you guys are probably so because Mark answered back and said, yes, a lot of annuals and some that are shrub-like come back each year. Plumbago.
Plumbog. I've heard the name.
No, I have too, and I can't remember the common name.
But-
I've never tried petunias, but things like moss rose, portulaca return. Yeah, I would. I bet portulaca would be a really good one for you.
Yeah,
too.
right. And that was such a beautiful, fun plant. Totally an annual up here.
Oh my gosh.
So-
So moving on, Kim Matlock is with us.
Kim, oh my gosh, you're here.
She's here. She says she caught us live. Yes. We're so excited you're here, Ken. How are you? How is your garden this season? How were your dahlias?
Oh yes, the dahlias.
Remember the dahlias?
Had so many dahlias last year.
That
Yeah.
just kind of decimated all of them.
Were you able to overwinter them?
Oh,
Did you dig them up and bring them inside? Did you grow more this year?
I know. I forget what zone you're in, Kim. So if you hear this, let us know. Yeah, let us know all those.
Yeah, right.
Let us know how everything's going.
Yeah. How you doing?
Hey. Okay. Oh, and penticulata is Margaret's hydrangea. Penticulata.
Penticulata. Okay.
Sure, I knew that one.
Yeah, I don't know if I know that one either.
But I'm the big round ones. So there's that could be either macrophylla or
Big leaf is macrophylla.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably what. Okay.
Cool. That's really cool. And you got all. So now my mind goes to how many cuttings did you start? How did you do? I want to know more.
Oh my gosh, there's so much more. Okay, let's keep moving, and we're going to come back to the chat in just a second. But I agree, we've literally been looking at this slide for like 20 minutes, so you guys are probably
like, come on,
your hair out.
We want to know stuff.
So let's move forward.
Okay. So we've already asked you guys a question on the screen.
Yeah, we'll move on.
Okay.
These are now all the pictures you're going to see are all cuttings we've taken at different times and experimented with. So if you have any questions along the way, just let us know.
Totally. Okay, so as you've already probably picked up on or heard us already say, maybe you already know this. Now is a great time to take stem cuttings. It's summer's rounding out. We're at the end of summer. We're coming into the fall season. It's starting to feel like fall around here in the mornings with that crispness in the air and in the evenings. Maybe you've already started feeling it or seeing it in your area where you live. So, but this time of year, plants are starting to slow down, and they're finishing up some of their flowering, and they're starting to get those environmental triggers to start going dormant. Now, some of the plants, obviously the annuals are they're just going to peter out, and they're just going to die probably either before or right after the first frost. Some of your other perennials, either herbaceous or hardwood, they're going to start going into their dormant period. Biologically, they're starting to go dormant. They're shutting down. They're slowing down. And so you're going to start seeing a lot of that. Well, when that is starting, when those processes start, either for annual or perennial, this is a really good time to start taking stem cuttings. You can actually get some of that growth that's still alive and grab it before it completely shuts down. And like we were talking about, if you're going to come through and prune a plant anyway, might as well go after some stem cuttings if you want to save some money and create and have more of those same plants in your garden.
Yeah, I love that.
So, yeah, and then a really good reason. Oh, that's fine. I know this. Let's go. Oh, cuttings are fun. It's exciting. So the great thing about taking stem cuttings right now too is that you start the stem cuttings, getting the root a little bit earlier before the first frost and that cold weather really sets in, depending on where you live, how harsh that's going to be. You get them to root sooner, therefore they'll start to grow and develop that root system. And when they're developing that root system, they're also going to start growing and developing the top portion of that new plant. They're going to be further along in their development to then be a little bit more hardy once the winter months come in and you have all that, the cold and the wind and stuff. And like us, we keep them in a greenhouse, which we're going to build. We're going to build a new greenhouse.
Excited to show you our temporary greenhouse. It's totally temporary, but
it's a kit. But we're going to do that, so we'll have that in a video coming up here. But what we do with our cuttings in this climate is we put them in a greenhouse with a heating mat and make sure there's enough sunlight. And if we got to put a space heater in there, we'll do that too. But we overwinter them in a protected area. Therefore, they still develop their root system. They might grow a little bit slower, especially on top of the cutting. It's cold out. The sunlight's not as warm. It's not as long a day. So the plant's still kind of going through its normal natural motions of kind of shutting down, doing these different things. But underneath the ground, all those plants that you're going to take cuttings from, underneath the soil level, they're developing those roots. They're growing. They're actively growing those roots out because they want to have that anchoring system and the ability to then just burst forth with more growth as soon as the day length gets longer and the temperatures start warming up. And there's different triggers for different plants to do that depending on what they are. So anyway.
You're such a plant nerd. I love it. I love the nerd. I learned so much. I love that. Sorry. That was awesome. Awkward silence. No, I love that. I want you have so much knowledge. I just love it when you share it with everybody.
Sometimes it's hard. I can't get it all out.
he needs so many. He needs another outlet, I think, because sometimes I'm like, I don't understand what you're saying, but I want to learn. So I love that. Sorry, I didn't mean to make you feel awkward.
Okay.
Real quick, Kim wrote back and said her garden had a little bit of a bumpy start. We had asked Kim a couple minutes ago because we are so excited Kim's with us.
I know, Kim's here.
And we asked her how her garden went this year, and she said it was a bit of a bumpy start. There were some things going on, including nursing a sick brother.
Oh.
And we said we're really sorry.
Sorry, Kim.
We hope your brother's better now.
Yeah, that's really nice to be
I
able
know.
to do that for
I
you,
know
too.
that is. It's great that you were available and able to do that.
Yeah.
That takes a special person to be able
does.
to do that. So we really, our heart goes out to you, and we hope he's okay. And then talking about a lot of rain followed by drought in, and oh, that's right. Kim is in 7B.
Okay.
So that's,
Can't remember it. Kim, are you, maybe you said already, we just haven't seen it, but I can't remember. Are you in Georgia or are you in Florida?
Georgia.
It is Georgia.
I believe Kim's in Georgia. Please correct us.
Okay.
But the support on here right now, you guys, we love that. Jen said, so sorry, Kim, hang in there. And then Mark said, we hadn't heard from you in a while, Kim, prayers for you and the family.
Totally. Ditto.
So love that.
Totally.
Lots of support here in our chat and in our group. We love you guys.
Yeah.
Okay, so which plants?
Which plants?
This is the exciting part.
So these are the plants that you can take cuttings from right now, and these are the 5 we're going to show you, give you a little bit more information about through today's live.
Yeah.
So right up here we got sedum, autumn joy sedum. Boom. We've talked about those a couple times already.
I know, we're
And
excited.
then English lavender. Of course, we're going to talk about
Oh,
lavender.
you know
right?
we're going to talk about lavender.
Lavender's one of
There
our
are
favorite
so
plants.
many lavenders that we added to our collection this year that I would really, really like to take cuttings of. Some of them are patent protected though, so we can't, but I want to.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll save some seed. I guess that's kind of the same thing though.
Technically, it's not,
Oh,
but we'll see.
interesting. Okay.
Well, yeah, coleus.
Coleus.
So we've got it up here in on the center of the screen here. Coleus, amazing little plants. They don't really winter here. Actually,
overwinter
you know,
here.
when it gets about 50 degrees here and just below 50 degrees, and then the temperature just keeps going down, 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 down here, they die. It hurts their tissue and they start dying off. And so we have to be very careful to either dig the whole plant up and repot it and put it in a greenhouse or protected area to overwinter it here, or take cuttings and then do the same thing, protect it, keep it growing, bring it inside. It's a great indoor plant too, if you don't know that. You can actually dig it up, if you're okay with doing that, taking an outside plant and bringing it inside. There's a few factors you need to make sure and look for, such as if you're bringing it inside from outside, look it over and make sure there's no bugs in it.
I know, I was just thinking that. You
So
don't want
you
to
don't-
introduce a whole colony of
Yeah.
icky stuff.
Yeah, so there is a little bit of that. You can always quarantine it somewhere in the house and make sure it's okay, and then bring it in and put it in with your other
a great
plants.
idea, yeah.
But coleus, great plant to take cuttings from. Salvia hot lips.
Oh, one of our favorite
We've got a
salvia.
couple of videos on this.
Oh, we
actually.
do, and there's so much more salvia we've added to our garden since.
Yes.
There's just salvia is such an amazing plant. I know. I'm pretty sure Mark pointed that out for something for Jen to maybe try growing too in Arizona.
Ooh, cool. Good idea, Mark.
Real,
Yeah.
dry weather, hot,
And there's a lot of different salvias
tolerant
too.
once it's established. Like,
Yeah, there's a couple different kinds of salvias out there that grow too. There's more of a herbaceous salvia.
Oh.
Yeah, there's also a hardwood salvia, and we like the hot lips as a hardwood salvia. So
Yeah, we're big fans of the hot lips, and hummingbirds love salvia, so that's fun. You're adding beneficial plants, to your garden.
and also I say there's a whole bunch of salvias out there. It also depends on where you're zoned at, and will it survive there? Is it hardy in your zone? If it's not, then it doesn't matter if it's herbaceous or hardwood. It's not going to survive in your zone. So
Very true.
put that caveat out there.
I know.
Okay.
And then another plant you can take right now, we've kind of mentioned, I think, already, but petunias. Petunias, you might have some beautiful petunias. Maybe you've overwintered them or you've had a system going, you've had the same petunia plants for a while, you want to increase them. Again, be careful with the patent
Yes.
protection.
Yes.
But there's,
Always check that.
yeah.
Always check that.
Let's see. So the yellow right below the petunias or that picture, those were some of the first petunias we took some cuttings of, which if I remember right, they all rooted. We did water cuttings and soil cuttings, and unfortunately, that was the batch that got decimated by all the bugs. And you know what happened is, some of you might remember this if you saw that. I think we talked about it in a couple videos back in early 21. Basically, we brought a whole bunch of new plants home from the nursery, and lo and behold, they came with some extras,
Yeah, aphids.
aphids, and they spread and decimated all of the cuttings we had made videos on and
Yeah.
successfully rooted. And oh, it was so sad.
We were able to
We were very
spray
sad.
a water soap solution on them, like dish soap and water together, added solution onto those plants and take care of the aphids. But by that time, the damage had been done to the plants, and also that soap solution is a little, it's kind of desiccating to different plants and their leaves, so it kind of makes them crispy. They can't photosynthesize, and then they all went downhill pretty much. It was too bad. But anyway, moving on. Let's talk more about cuttings. Going to put up this next slide here. Okay, so if you're thinking about taking cuttings from any of these five plants here, we've listed out here what you need to expect, how long to expect them until they root. You know, what is that expectation? So English lavender is the longest, and it can take anywhere depending on how well you take care of the cuttings, how healthy the cuttings are, and the tissue you take. The age of the tissue you take, is it really hard wood, or is it semi-hard wood and there's a little bit of bend to it, or is it still green and it's more herbaceous, it's softer and it's greener, it literally is greener tissue. Depending on some of those things and others, it can take from 4 to 16 weeks just to see roots. And that's crazy. That's a long time. That can be a very long
I
time.
know it is, and it's hard because you're just like checking them all the time, that you're trying to leave them alone because you don't want to disrupt any new
Yeah.
root growth or do anything wrong.
Well, and also, really quick, English lavender, it doesn't like to be in wet soil all the time. So
they do not.
trying to root these is really hard, because even the cuttings, if you keep them in too wet of soil, we had this happen.
Yeah.
Some of our cuttings, they just rotted because they were too wet. And it was hard because with this long period of time to get them to root, you want to keep moisture in the soil and around that stem cutting, so the cutting knows, that piece of stem knows that, oh, I need to develop roots if I'm going to survive and create a new plant and have leaves and all this. I need that moisture to keep my tissue just healthy, and then to also grow the new roots. And so it's hard to find that balance.
It's really hard. And like Mark was just mentioning, he was like, I bet the soap solution, as far as going back to our bugs and the aphids that decimated our greenhouse, there's not a lot you can do to really, I mean, that we did try a soap solution, if I remember right, and you have to be consistent with that, but it's just, the cuttings are so tender, like you said, Mark, and
That's what I was saying too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy.
it's
Yeah.
really hard to care for them. So it's kind of a crapshoot. That's why we take so many, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes you take a lot of cuttings because you know your attrition rate is going to be kind of high.
That's kind of what happened with our cordyline cuttings recently. If I don't know if you guys caught that video, but cordyline, there was no literature out there, right? You could probably explain this better, but
So, well, what happened was, because the circumstances, if you guys saw that video earlier this spring,
Yeah.
we had these cordylines and the false dracaenas, and they had sprouted all of these new buds, and the leaves were coming out at the base all the way around.
crazy,
This
yeah.
huge base. They were coming out all over the place on the stem. And we're like, what if we take each one of those and try to make a new plant out of it? That'd be cool. But there's no literature for that, because the usual way to propagate cordylines is to take a really tall plant and cut it at the base with a really long stem, and to section that long stem off, cut off little pieces of it, like 4 or 5, maybe 6 inches, and bury that stem, and then it roots and produces a new plant that way. That's the normal way to do it. So there was nothing out there for us to look at, to follow, as far as taking all these little new buds. So we tried it, and actually maybe one made it.
we've had not the best of luck. They got heated, it's been a mess. So
Well,
we're hoping for maybe 2, but we're pretty sure only 1.
maybe one made it. Anyway, so yeah, it depends on the literature. We tried something new, and
Oh, it was fun.
that's part of what comes down to taking stem cuttings. If you've never done it before, you got to try it. If you really want to know, try it. You might fail, you might be successful. Hopefully you're successful.
I know.
But try it. don't let any of the possible failures or anything slow you down. That's, I guess, what we want to say here.
And that's what we like to
So,
do. We like to try things. We like to grow from them, learn from them, experiment.
yep.
We may
So,
not always get the best.
yeah, yeah, totally.
Results, but-
So getting back to our list here. So,
Oh, sorry, off topic.
it's all right. It happens.
It happens.
So coleus, next up, coleus. It roots in 2 to 3 weeks, and it's just like these sedums. We didn't have to treat these sedums in this water. We treated the sedums that we stuck into the soil with a root tone just to make sure that they did root, but you don't have to do that even in the soil. I think it was Jen or one of the ladies in our
Oh, I think it was
chat.
Margaret.
It was Margaret.
A while ago.
Yeah, Margaret mentioned that you just stick them in the soil. Totally true. Coleus, same deal. Just cut the stem off, make sure it's good, healthy tissue, stick it in the soil, you're good to go. Or in water, it'll root in 2 to 3 weeks. Really, really easy. Petunias, they'll root in 3 to 4 weeks. Now, it is recommended, though, in different literature that we have, and we can share, I guess, later on the books that we have for propagation literature and references. For petunias, it's good to use a root tone, and there's a lot of different versions out there for the root tone or root treatment. It's a powder. You dip your stem of the petunia or whatever plant you have in water, get that stem moist, and then stick it in the powder right after that, so it's wet and the powder sticks to the stem, and then you place it in the soil. So it's recommended that you do use some type of root tone for petunias. Salvia, same thing for the root tone, that requirement, but 3 to 4 weeks, and you should start seeing roots. It's really cool. Sedums, we've already talked about. It's really 2 to 3 weeks easy, just like coleus. So anyway, so I'm going to move on to the next slide. Hopefully that's helpful. Yeah, and it gives you an idea of what to expect for how long it takes to have these cuttings root. So,
And then the biggie would be Aftercare. Okay,
some of the most important stuff right here.
You got the cuttings and they're looking great, they're looking healthy, but then, we know winter's coming, we know the cold weather for most of us. What do we do? Like,
now what?
How do we control their environment? How do we...
You took the cuttings, you treated them right, you put them in the soil or water just the way you wanted to do it, the way you're supposed to do it. Now what are you supposed to do?
Now what?
Yeah.
This is the basis of, we have a course coming up, actually. We maybe have hinted around at that, and I just threw a link for the waiting course, or the waiting list. We kind of changed the date a couple times.
Some things have come up.
Some things have come up.
Scheduling things have come up, but we're still going to do the course. It's just going to be later in the fall.
We're so passionate to get this out to you guys because there's a lot of information, and we cover a lot of these things in a lot more detail.
Yep. So yeah, but what's really important here is definitely watering, especially if you have it in water, you don't have to worry about that, obviously, right?
Well, changing the water.
But yeah, changing the water is very important. About every 1 or 2 days. We obviously didn't do that with the sedums. We need to do that. Follow our own recommendations here. But when you have cuttings in soil, whether it's regular potting soil, seeding soil, seed starting soil, or what have you, even in perlite or different things, you want to make sure that you're regularly making sure that they have water. They have that moisture around that stem, because if they don't, it's going to be really hard for them to then keep that tissue moist, keep it pliable, and to have a source of water to then suck in through the stem. It's weird how they do this, but the plants they can through that stem, through the cut piece on the bottom, they can suck in moisture to then use for the metabolism, and for the metabolism to start growing roots. And then once those roots start growing out, they take in more moisture. So you want to keep that moisture around that stem, but you don't want it too wet because you don't want the stem to rot. So there's a little bit of a balance there. And so definitely sunlight. You want to make sure that that most cuttings have some type of sunlight, because you are going to have leaves, and they need the sunlight to photosynthesize and then also create more light energy, take light energy and create more energy for themselves to then keep growing and developing and stay healthy. And the temperature is very important. So if it gets down, most cuttings, if it gets down to either frost or freezing, they're really going to slow down their metabolism, and that cold weather could hurt the tissue and actually hurt their root growth. It might stop them from growing roots. It might kill some of those tender roots and the tissue. of the stem and the leaves. So you really got to keep them above freezing. And some of you want to keep above 40 degrees or even 50 degrees to keep them actively developing. So you can check the roots every couple of weeks, especially like we had that list of when to expect roots starting to grow. From that list, for lavender at week 4, after you've taken the cuttings and you're treating them right and stuff, you can start checking the roots in the soil. And if you can do water, we did water cuttings of lavender, by the way,
yeah.
and it worked.
Very successful.
It worked. It was the darndest
They
thing.
got huge.
Because they don't like the plants don't like to be in wet soil, but they rooted in water. Interesting. Very interesting.
I know, that was a fun experiment. I would look forward to doing that again.
Me too. So, so checking the roots, start checking them within that range when to expect the roots to be there. Don't check them before, because if you check them before, you can disturb their growth. And if you're using a root hormone on that stem, if you start checking the soil a lot, you'll displace the root hormone from the stem and its general area, and it won't be able to take effect. It won't be able to enhance the plant's ability, the stem's ability to grow roots. So just things to check. You also want to check for pests. You want to check for all different kinds of pests. So you just want to keep an eye out for those. And there's different literature out there to know which pest to look for, because of which plant you're growing the stem cuttings from. So, and we can always help with that too. And that's part of our course. So, and then just make sure to watch the overall plant health. Yellowing leaves, dieback, like canker sores or something on the stems themselves, stem tissue death. These are all things you want to keep an eye out for. And so then you can start fertilizing only when you start having roots. If you don't have roots I'm trying to make sure, whatever. If you don't have roots on any of those stem cuttings, they're not going to be able to take up a lot of that fertilizer. So it's kind of a waste if you're always fertilizing before they even start rooting. So, and when you do start fertilizing, make sure it's a watered down version. You don't want full strength fertilizer on these tender plants with those tender roots. You want to kind of baby them a little bit and build up to later.
For sure.
Yeah, build up later to full strength fertilizer. So anyway,
yeah, good.
A lot of information.
There's a lot of information to know. It's almost like the cutting part and taking the cutting is the easy part, depending on the plant, of course, but it's the aftercare, right? And making sure you can get them to that point where they're healthy enough to add back into your garden later on as a whole.
At the right
stage.
Yeah, the plant has to be at the right stage of growth and be robust enough and strong enough to be added back into your garden. If it's a perennial, to be then hardy into the years past that. An annual, it's just when are those frost-free days? When is the temperature high enough to add them back in, and are they big enough and healthy enough? So, okay. So
I think that's probably the end.
I think that's our last one.
And there are so many more plants you can take stem cuttings from. This is just 5 of them, just because otherwise we'd have like 50 slides, and you guys.
Oh my gosh, there'd be so many.
But we did make a freebie that I'm going to put in the chat right now. We would love to get in your hands. And most of the plants on this list, but not all, we are going to actually show you how to do on our course coming up. So that is a part of that. So stay tuned.
Yeah, we're going to have, what we're going to do with the course, while Allison's getting this up really quick, we're going to have a core class of how to take stem cuttings and everything you need to know before that, and to anticipate to then go take the stem cuttings and all these basic things that you need to know. And then there's going to be that core class. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have like another kind of mini class for taking stem cuttings in the fall, going through literally, was it 15 or 20 plants?
I think
it's like 20 plants. That's our goal. We want to have 20 different videos to show you how to take 20 different separate plant cuttings. Yeah. And that's an extra thing to be added on to after you take the core class, or not take the core class if you just want to go to get that. That'll be a separate thing that we will literally show you, and you'll have access to 20 different videos for 20 different plants to take cuttings from. And we'll link you through each one.
Basically, we're going to have the big course, and then we're adding on the fall one for free for those of you that sign up. But
that's our goal.
Later on, it'll be a paid paid course.
Yep.
Well, the whole thing is paid.
And then our future goal for that too is to have winter cuttings, a whole bunch of videos for winter cutting,
That'd be really fun.
plans for taking winter cuttings from, each one walking you through on that, and then spring, and then summer.
Yeah.
So that's our goal.
We want to have, because we have so much information to share, and maybe this isn't something that you need, but if you know anyone that would be interested in this type of course, how to take cuttings, like all the steps, all the tools needed, everything, all the aftercare, we would love for you to ask you a favor to send them our waitlist link, and it's pinned at the very top of the chat. So that's just a wait list. That'll be kind of emails maybe once a week or every 2 weeks talking about what's coming up and behind the scenes, and then release when there would actually be, we've already talked about giving away a little incentive too, and maybe a little discount on the course for those of you that are on the wait list.
So yeah, so what you want to do, if you're interested and you want to hear more about it, definitely go to the link that Allison put in the chat there. Go to that landing page. And there's a video, and we go over some of this stuff again. You can watch that too. And then also get on the waiting list to be on that email. Where there's going to be email sequence that comes after. Yeah. And so, sorry, did you just say that? I
just said that.
She just said that, so
it's okay,
I'm going to
but
stop.
we probably explained it a lot better because
I
get so excited.
I know,
I miss details. But then for you guys, for being here today and just for free, and maybe share with your friends or whatnot, there's a free link here for 20 plants, like we were just talking about. It's like a list of 20 plants you can take cuttings of right now into the fall. And that's at the link right here. It's bit.ly, like bit.ly, 20 plants freebie.
20 plants freebie.
So click on that and you'll get that.
Super cool.
For now. But other than that, we hope that was helpful.
Yeah.
We wanted to, we've done cuttings on air before, I think, and that was...
We have.
It's a bit of a challenge here where we're currently set up. We would love to do that with you sometime.
We did fuchsias. We
did like fuchsias.
We did fuchsias, and I think we did petunias.
That was, okay.
Maybe live.
I'm kind of remembering some of that.
Definitely the fuchsias.
And that was a fun opportunity to be able to do that. And maybe in the future, hopefully, we'll be able to do that again. But where we are now, not so much.
And you know what? It's just been fun to talk to you guys about this and to start a conversation with you, and to have all of you start your own conversations in the chat. I'm looking over here because that's where the chat is. But for everybody to talk, that's one of our goals with doing these live, to get everybody to talk.
The main goal,
and to talk about your gardens, talk about stem cuttings, talk about bulbs or whatever. It's fun, and we want to encourage that.
Fun. And everything we learned from you guys, and all the information you can share with each other. We just wanted a place for that, just being able to check in live for an hour once a week and just talk about our gardens.
Yep, and we're going to try and focus on that more as we keep doing these lives.
Absolutely.
All right.
Speaking of that, what's coming up?
What is coming up?
We might move these topics around a little bit, but I think these are pretty set.
Can I do that? I can. Yeah.
So now next Saturday, we apologize, but we're actually giving a demonstration to a botanical garden. So we're really excited. We're going to be helping teach how to create and work with fall bulbs, and specifically a lasagna planter. We're going to have a video coming up on that soon as well. So we're not going to be live next week. So
was this a hot?
we're